Okay, I'm on my way to Genxing Yiyuan, which is Cardinal Tian Hospital, and I'm going to the branch in Xindian. I like this hospital. If you've watched some of my videos before, I've done an elective surgery as well as an emergency surgery in this hospital, so this is my hospital of choice. And today, I'm going for my first breast exam and possible mammogram. I figured I'm 40, I've never been for one, I have national health insurance, and I have a little something here that bothers me, so I think I'm gonna go check it out and just be sure that it's nothing to worry about. Luckily, I've made an appointment through a referral. My neurologist actually referred me to Dr. Dai Iron at Cardinal Tian Hospital. She apparently is the specialist when it comes to everything related to breastises. So I've made a booking with her. Just a side note, if you are new in Taiwan, most things in Taiwan, you've got to be a member to go, and hospitals are not excluded from that list. So if you're new and you want to go to a specific hospital that you haven't been to before, you need to go register first. It's relatively simple, and there's usually volunteers, and they will usually find someone that can speak English. You walk into the hospital, there'll be a desk. You say that you haven't been there before and you want to register. They'll give you a piece of paper. On this piece of paper, you're going to fill out your basic details, you know, name, age, etc., etc., etc. If you have health insurance in Taiwan, then all of that gets onto that little paper, and that's an instant registration. So then you're now in the system of the hospital, and you can immediately make your booking with the doctor that you want to see. I made my booking last week, so I'm going to see Dr. Dai Iron today for a breast exam and possibly a mammogram. I am very scared. I heard that a mammogram is quite painful, but I think it's a necessary thing that you should probably do at least once in your life. So in this video, I'm basically going to talk about how to get a breast exam and possibly a mammogram in Taiwan. I'm sure this procedure is going to be very similar at most hospitals, but for the sake of clarity, I'm going to share my experience at the Cardinal Tian Hospital in Xindian. Assuming you've already done your registration and you are now ready to have your consultation, you follow the signs very carefully. This is a huge hospital. I did get lost a few times. Make your way up to the 5th floor of building B, then you will find the Breast Cancer Center. It's a very nice, quiet area compared to the rest of the hospital. I waited less than 5 minutes for my first consultation, and even when I went back for my results, it took less than 3 minutes for me to see the doctor. So I sat down with the lovely Dr. Dai Iron. She spoke perfect English. She asked me about breast cancer in the family and a few other personal details. I told her that I had felt a couple of lumps under my left breast. After our chat, she laid me down on a bed and did a very gentle physical examination, and she agreed that she also felt something under the left breast. She immediately stroked my arm right after she said that in a very motherly way and comforted me by saying that she's pretty confident that it's not cancer, but perhaps something else, but she would like to take a mammogram just to be sure. Luckily, there was an opening that day, so I went directly across the hall to the next room where the mammogram was. As soon as you walk in, they give you a number. I was number 19. They ask you to change into like a type of wrap shirt. There were no lockers, so you just keep your belongings with you. Number 19 was actually the next number that was called, so that again was a very short wait. You go inside, again a very nice, friendly nurse. She asked me to put all my things on one chair, and then she called me into the next part where the mammogram machine was. I had to take the robe off. And at this point, she coaches you how to stand, how to hold, how to position yourself against this mammogram machine. I told her it was my first time. She warned me that it was going to hurt, which I kind of expected, but holy hell did it hurt. It hurt a lot. So, okay, first of all, you stand against this machine, you face the machine, and she's going to take a picture of your right breast first. She'll position you and put you in the right spot to stand and so on and so on. And then she will squeeze this machine down on your breast. And the only analogy that I can come up with is, imagine squeezing a panini sandwich. I know this is a really lame analogy, but that's really the only thing I can come up with. The pressure of this machine seems to increase to the point where it cannot be pushed anymore. So like a maximum pressure. In other words, your breast is as tight and as flat as it can possibly be. I wrote on Facebook that this was one of the most painful experiences I've ever had. And there were actually a couple of women that said that they didn't agree with me. And honestly, I take my hat off to them. I went into the changing room right after I did the mammogram, and I did a voice recording to debrief myself, to record the experience, because I knew with that level of pain that my brain would block out and I would not be able to remember the experience. And sure enough, about 30 minutes later, it was really hard for me to recall what exactly happened in that room and what exactly I felt. But luckily, I had that voice recording as a reminder. So from the moment that I walked into this mammogram area, changed clothes, my number 19 was called, I went in, I took the 4 pictures, and I walked out clothed again. It only took about 15 minutes. Then plus the doctor's consultation, maybe another 15 minutes. So the whole thing took about 30 minutes. I guess it depends on your case. I mean, if you have lots of questions for the doctor, or if you have a very specific case, the procedure might take longer. But it doesn't actually take that long. Start to finish, about 30 minutes, I think. Okay, once the mammo is done, you're basically done. You go downstairs and you pay your bill. The Dr. Iron was very kind, and she booked me a next appointment for the following Tuesday. She's only on service on certain days, so I didn't have to go and do anything or do a follow-up booking myself. She just booked me for the next Tuesday. The results take 3 days to come in, so she'll probably book you, or the doctor that you're with will probably book you for your next appointment when they know the results will be ready and in. So you go downstairs to the payment counter of the hospital. If you have national health insurance in Taiwan, the cost is about 370 NT dollars for the consultation and the mammogram. If you don't have health insurance, the cost is going to be about 1,500 to 2,000 new Taiwan dollars, depending on which hospital you go to and how complex your case is. So a week later, I went back straight up to room B502 because Dr. Iron already booked me. You need to let the nurse know that you've arrived. If you do not have national health insurance, you knock on the door. If you do, you stick your national health insurance card into the registration slot machine, which is next to the door of the doctor that you want to see. It'll sound something to let you know that you've been received or registered. At most hospitals, the afternoon appointments cutoff timeline is about 4:30 in the afternoon. Actually, mornings and evenings also have like a last call or a cutoff where you have to let them know that you've arrived or you're attending. I think the evenings are like 6:30 and the mornings are 11:30 or so. That means that you just have to let them know or register your card that you are there. This doesn't mean that the doctor's leaving at that time, so don't worry, don't panic. The doctor stays. It just means if you haven't registered your attendance before that time, they probably won't see you that day and you'll have to come back some other time. Anyway, so I go back to the lovely Dr. Iron a week later, and before I even have a chance to sit down, she immediately and promptly tells me that the tests have come back negative and that there is nothing to worry about. She said that the lumps that I felt in my breasts could have been lots of reasons. It could have been hormonal, it could have been just pockets of water, but it's definitely nothing to concern myself with. I made a joke and said how much that mammogram hurt, and she had a bit of a chuckle, and the nurse that was there with her also had a laugh, and she just said, look, that's something that every woman has to go through. But she added and said, starting from next year for a follow-up appointment, I can go for sonar. I don't know what exactly that means, if the mammogram is some kind of gateway to be able to do the sonogram or how that works, and I don't particularly care. I'm just happy that I've done it and it's over, and And I think that if you have any concerns or if you haven't done it, perhaps you should get it done, get it over with, and give yourself the peace of mind.